All right, gentlemen, ready to dive into a world of discoveries, and frankly, a world that's making billions, right? Big Pharma. We're talking about the top 10 best-selling drugs of 2024. You wanted to know more, of the inside scoop on these pharmaceutical giants, so here we go.
Yeah, think of it like we're going backstage. Beyond just the headlines, we're figuring out what these drugs are all about, why everybody's talking about them, and what it all means, especially for guys like us, over 50.
So no long explanations, let's jump right into it. A straight-up countdown of the top 10, starting with number 10, Skyreezy. Got to be honest, this one was new to me. What is Skyreezy all about?
So Skyreezy, it's making a name for itself with these immune-mediated diseases. You see, it targets a protein, IL-23. Think of it like a loudspeaker for your immune system. And when that loudspeaker goes haywire, you get things like psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, Crohn's disease.
So Skyreezy comes in and just hits the mute button.
Exactly. It calms everything down. It's approved for all those things we just talked about. But get this, clinical trials, they're showing it could be huge for ulcerative colitis, which, let me tell you, that can be a rough one.
Wow, quietly changing lives for folks with some tough conditions.
Yeah.
Speaking of making a difference, number 9 on our list, a familiar name, especially for those of us with kids, Gardasil.
Yep, that's right, the HPV vaccine. And the newest version, Gardasil 9, it's like a shield protecting against 9 strains of the virus that can actually lead to cancer.
Now, this might surprise some people, but Gardasil, it's not just for teenagers anymore. I remember when it first came out.
You're right, things have changed. Now it's recommended for adults, too, up to age 45. Never too late for prevention, am I right?
Absolutely. Prevention, that's key, especially as we get older. Okay, moving on to number 8, and we're entering a territory that needs no introduction, especially these past few years. Comirnaty.
Ah, yes. The Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. It was everywhere, wasn't it? But it's actually fascinating to see how its role is, well, how it's changing in the market now.
I bet. The pharmaceutical world, it's constantly changing, isn't it? What are you seeing with Comirnaty?
Well, sales are down, not as high as they were. That initial, urgency of the pandemic, it's faded. We're even seeing Pfizer, they're having to up the prices to keep it a top seller. Interesting to see how that plays out.
Pricing in pharmaceuticals, that's a whole other conversation. Okay, at number 7, we've got a drug that's, well, it's made a real difference, especially in the cancer world, right? Opdivo.
Absolutely. This one's important. Opdivo, it was the very first PD-1 monoclonal antibody that got approved, ever.
Okay, gotta admit, that sounds a little intimidating.
Let me break it down. Basically, our immune system, right, it has these, breaks, stops it from going after healthy cells. But cancer cells, they're sneaky. They can hijack these breaks so the immune system doesn't even see them as a threat.
Sneaky. So how do we stop that?
Opdivo to the rescue. It releases those breaks, lets the immune system do its thing, fight the cancer. Approved for a bunch of different cancers now. It was a game changer.
Wow. Giving people hope. That's what it's all about. Now, number 6 on our list, another drug making a huge impact for folks with a really tough diagnosis.
Darzalex,
this one's a light for people with multiple myeloma, a type of blood cancer. It goes after a specific protein, CD38, found on myeloma cells, and it basically marks them for destruction.
I love how these new drugs, they're all about using our own immune system's power.
Right. It's amazing what they're doing. And what's even better with Darzalex, they've got this new injection, subcutaneous, makes the whole treatment process faster, easier on the patient.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Better results, better experience, win-win. All right, you ready for number 5? This one's big in the fight against HIV, Biktarvy.
Biktarvy. This is a perfect example of how these pharmaceutical companies, they're always trying to improve things. It's what they call a combination therapy, multiple medications, all in one pill. Man, that's got to be a game changer for folks juggling a bunch of meds.
Exactly. Easier to stay on track, better outcomes in the end. It's no surprise it's selling like crazy.
Makes sense. Convenience is key, right? Okay, number 4. And this one might sound familiar to guys our age, right? Eliquis. I've seen the commercials, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, and they're definitely targeting the right guys, Eliquis, it's worth knowing about, especially over 50. Stroke risk, blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, those are all things we want to avoid.
Yeah, no kidding. Scary stuff. So Eliquis, it helps with all that.
It does. It's an anticoagulant, so it's all about preventing those clots. Really popular, and it shows you how important, being proactive about our health is as we get older.
100%. Can't start early enough, right? Okay, on to number 3. And this one sounds interesting. Dupixent. It's like what, multitasker or something? What's the deal?
It's kind of wild, actually. Dupixent, it goes after all kinds of inflammatory diseases. Like it's got this almost like a Swiss Army knife approach, atopic dermatitis, which is basically eczema, asthma, even this thing, eosinophilic esophagitis.
Eosinophilic. Whoa, okay.
Hmm.
I got to stop you right there. That's a mouthful. What is that?
So, inflammation of the esophagus, the tube that takes food from your mouth to your stomach, not pleasant. But the cool thing is, Dupixent goes after these things called interleukins. They're like these signals, right, involved in inflammation. And by blocking them, well, it calms down that immune overreaction that's causing the problem.
So it's like hitting pause on the inflammation no matter where it is.
That's it. And they're looking at it for even more stuff. COPD even. Can you
And
imagine?
it'd be huge. Okay, we're getting down to it now. Number 2, this one, everyone's talking about this one, Ozempic. Seriously, it's everywhere I turn.
I know, right? And it's not just hype either. So Ozempic, it's what they call a GLP-1 receptor agonist. Basically, it acts like a hormone that our gut makes. Originally, it was for type 2 diabetes, managing blood sugar.
Okay, so for diabetes, but I get the feeling there's more to this story.
Oh, there is. It's good for diabetes, don't get me wrong. But the thing everyone's going crazy over is, well, it's the side effect, weight loss. And I'm talking like serious weight loss for some people.
Yeah, that's got to be turning some heads, especially in the weight loss industry.
Totally. It's a whole debate now, using meds for weight loss, body image, even ethics, right? We could do a whole other deep dive just on that.
Don't get me started. All right, the moment has arrived. Number 1, the best-selling drug in the world.
It's got to be Keytruda.
I can't even imagine, like, the money involved in all this research and development. It's got to be astronomical.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking billions and billions. But it's not just about the money, although obviously that's a big part of it. What I find really interesting is, well, these top-selling drugs, they're like a snapshot of where healthcare is going as a whole.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
Yeah.
What kind of trends are we seeing?
Well, one of the big ones, and we touched on it earlier, is this whole rise of biologics, like we were talking about with Keytruda, Dupixent. These are like super targeted treatments, right?
Right, like instead of a shotgun approach, it's a sniper rifle.
Exactly, and that's what makes them so effective. They hone in on specific parts of the immune system, but, and this is the catch, they're expensive. Developing them, manufacturing them, it all adds up.
And I'm guessing that cost, it trickles down to the patient, right?
Yeah, unfortunately it does. These groundbreaking drugs, they can be out of reach for a lot of folks. It's a real issue,
Yeah.
access to healthcare, affordability. It's a big conversation we need to be having.
Absolutely. But putting the cost aside for a second, I mean, look at the progress we're seeing. Cancer treatment, it's night and day compared to even a few years ago. Drugs like Keytruda, Opdivo, they're giving people hope.
You're right. We've come a long way, and a lot of it goes back to understanding the immune system. We're learning to use the body's own defenses, and not just for cancer. HIV, autoimmune diseases, even genetic disorders. We're seeing amazing progress. It's a really exciting time to be talking about medicine.
It really is. It feels like we're on the verge of something big.
We are. And, if I had to sum it up in a phrase, I'd say it's all about personalized medicine. Remember how we were saying Keytruda works best for tumors with a specific genetic marker?
Yeah, it's like it's tailored for that exact cancer.
That's personalized medicine. And in the future, we'll see even more of it. Treatments based on your unique genes, your lifestyle, even your environment.
Wow, that's wild. Like having a drug designed just for you. Sounds pretty futuristic though, doesn't it?
It does, but the pieces are all there. We can analyze genes, we can track health data, we even have AI helping with diagnoses and treatment plans.
So you're saying it's not science fiction. This personalized approach, it's closer than we think.
It is. There are challenges, of course. The cost, making sure everyone has access, but the potential is huge. Imagine a world where we're managing chronic diseases better, treatments are tailored to you, preventative care is totally personalized. It's coming.
Well, sign me up. Sounds like we're on quite the journey when it comes to healthcare.
We are. And the best part, we're just getting started.
Well said. Well said. Gentlemen, there you have it. Our deep dive into the top-selling drugs of 2024. A glimpse into the future of medicine, and I hope a newfound appreciation for just how much is happening in the world of pharmaceuticals.
It's a fascinating field, always evolving, always pushing the boundaries. It's about hope, it's about innovation, and it's about a healthier future for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, everyone, knowledge is power. The more we understand about these advancements, the better prepared we'll be to navigate the exciting world of medicine, right? To make good decisions about our health. Until next time, this is The Deep Dive, signing off.